that TL have been using a fair bit. It's actually been all 3 games so far this split.
Right, it's not just one ban in itself. You kind of get the bonus of discouraging. It's a ban and a half, right? Because you're saying, hey, you don't get the bonus with Rakan. We got to see CoreJJ have some really impressive engages yesterday in Team Liquid's game. Showed a very different level of play compared to what we saw in their loss in Week 1 against Echo Fox. Clearly back on what he's normally able to do with the champion. Not surprised to see that banned out, as Team Liquid will remove the Rumble.
Okay, taking away Rumble, certainly Ruin has already showed it this split, has been very good on it, and Rumble in general just has been gaining, I think, a lot of traction, not only in the LCS, but in solo queue. It is seeing play not only top lane, but in mid, has become quite powerful. But Sylas as well as Sivir, so flex pick here, can be going to Impact or Jensen, and these SSG for Marksman are getting a lot of priority these days in the draft. A lot of people really starting to like playing Sivir quite a lot, and it is a very powerful champion in this current meta, especially when you're paired alongside so many melee champions, so much hard engage. The speed up with the ultimate is bringing a lot of extra power.
And Sylas is just one of these champions that sort of defines the current state of League of Legends. We saw him constantly from every team at MSI. Coming into summer, he's still just as popular as ever. If this guy's up, he's going to end up on one team or the other. And Counter Logic Gaming, they'll grab a jungler there in the Sejuani for Wiggly. And we'll see if they actually want to lock that Lux in. We have been seeing a little bit more of this champion, and yep, we'll see it again.
Yeah, we're now 4 for 4 on mage supports here from Biofrost. He really has been prioritizing that. This is the second support Lux play. He had the Yuumi game as well as the Zyra, so a lot of poke, a lot of that sort of lane dominant style has been being brought out here from Biofrost. We'll be interested to see where TL wants to go as far as their support. We are going to get the Olaf, and as we heard them talking about on the desk, Warrior Olaf has been gaining more popularity, especially in the LPL. People are going these more aggressive style builds in lieu of things like the Cinderhulk Righteous Glory, which have been more popular in NA. Doesn't mean we're for sure going to get that, but it is certainly something that is picking up steam in the competitive scene.
You know, I love me some Chad builds in the jungle. Azale, hopefully we get to see some high damage output.
Ghost Blade first.
Ghost Blade first,
That's
Olaf, before even the Warrior.
Yeah,
That's how you know you're going for. That way you can run at them faster. And I mean, it really does feel good to be Olaf against a Lux and a Sejuani. No matter what you're building, both these champions depend very heavily on the CC they offer.
Yep.
And when you don't have to care about it, you can have a pretty good time on Summoner's Rift. Team Liquid, they're saying, hey, we got our AD carry. We're going to target that pool of yours now. Get rid of the Lucian. Get rid of one of those powerful laning picks, as CLG will keep the LeBlanc out of the hands of Jensen, just in case that Sylas is going top.
Yeah, another thing we have seen the Lux pairing up with is also the Caitlyn. Caitlyn certainly very strong in lane. Also does combine well with Lux. If you hit a binding, you can follow that up with the trap, similar to that Morgana-Caitlyn synergy that we have seen being brought out in the past. But it is going to be Kai'Sa being taken down thus far, and there's a lot of CC, a lot of kind of dive already on this comp, and certainly Kai'Sa can pair well with champions like the Sejuani and the Aatrox, who are going to be applying the plasma for you, who are going to be amping that damage and allowing you to kind of dive in.
Let's see what CLG wants to do here. One more ban they get to decide about. They already know a solo laner, an AD carry, and a jungler, so they're going to target the solo lanes here yet again. Another one of those flex picks taken out. Akali will not be played by the side of Team Liquid, and considering both of the bans that came out from CLG here were targeted more towards the mid lane.
Yeah.
You often see Jensen on the Akali compared to Impact playing it. They're pretty convinced, seemingly, that the Sylas will be going top, so we'll see how they draft him out.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be the case. Looking like it's going to be Karma as the support. This could be a flex. Yes, we do sometimes see Tank Karma top or AP Karma mid, just used kind of as that supportive style champion, but likely this will be Sivir Karma in the bottom lane. You do have to give the respect over that soul lanes could already you pick, that this could be the support. It could be going a lot of different places here on the side of TL, so they do have some flexibility, and CLG are going to have to reveal the rest of their draft before those final picks, and there is a Caitlyn, as expected. Not too much of a surprise. I do think there's a lot of synergy there. When you're going for the Lux pairing up with the Caitlyn, not only do you have a strong 2v2 and some pretty good lane dominance, you also have some very powerful sieging. You have the ability to really kind of ramp up when you are already starting from ahead. If you win that lane, you can move around the map, knock down turrets very, very quickly.
But, okay, the Thresh being over there for a second made me think.
Get baited.
They might do that last second bait and switch, but no, they will not. It will be Victor in the mid lane there for Power of Evil, but man, you're going to need to stay at max range, stay as safe as you can if you're these carries on the side of CLG, because that's not just an Olaf, Mr. Rizal. That is Olaf with double speed boost buddies. That is frightening.
Yeah, he's going to be going really, really fast, and if the cannon does come through, and it looks like the cannon is going to get locked, so very likely this will be cannon top, Sylas mid. Not sure how comfortable Ruin and PoE are at actually flexing these around, because Victor is actually quite a good matchup into the cannon, and Aatrox is totally serviceable into the Sylas. So if both those players were comfortable on the champions, I would actually say you should flex those. But I am not convinced that they actually did draft it with the intention of being able to do that. So I do think TL is going to end up with some more preferential matchups, and Jensen is going to have a slew of ultimates to steal that are very, very powerful. Sejuani, Victor, Lux in particular, all very, very good. Aatrox ultimate can be quite effective as well, just for all of that healing and spell vamp that is going to be actually coming through, will make you quite a lot tankier.
And I do like the call of sticking to what you know if you have to make the choice. Yes, the matchups aren't as preferential as if you did have the ability to swap them, but I would much rather see this team be on champions they're comfortable with, be on champions they know back and forth, as opposed to trying something a bit more maverick, a bit more out there, and just throwing it up in the wind and saying, well, I hope I can play Victor.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at this level, it's better to have a good player in a bad matchup than it is to have essentially a bad player in a good matchup, right? You know what I mean? And if you're not comfortable on Victor, despite the fact that it's a better matchup in a cannon, you're gonna be a much worse player. So, it's not gonna work out as well for you. As a result, makes a lot of sense where they are putting these champions. We'll see if they can make it work for themselves in game though, as I really do like a lot of the matchups that TL have gotten for themselves here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the crowd comes to life, and we are on to Summoner's Rift for the first time today. CLG versus Team Liquid. Let's not forget that Team Liquid did suffer a surprise defeat to Echo Fox in week number 1. CLG, they've managed to grab themselves a win already. We'll see if they've got what it takes to take down TL. Remember when they played up against TSM, CLG played their own style and going for this massive just AoE composition to blast everyone down at the same time. Unfortunately, they were up against a Sonateric that hard shut that down. The AoE wasn't able to find the mark. But I like the fact that they went all in on this strategy, like you were talking about with Biofrost playing the mage supports. And they're saying, hey, Sonateric is really strong in North America. Here's our take on how to beat it.
Yeah, exactly. And I also think it makes quite a bit of sense to some of the adaptations that they have made coming into this draft. One of the things I think they were missing in that TSM game was reliable hard engage. Having the Sejuani here is going to make that a lot easier. There are also some adaptations that are kind of fun to talk about. You can see both of the ADs actually took TP, so the heal is on support on both sides. It is also not Aftershock Lux, which is the standard. This is Guardian Lux, and that is to deal with a lot of the poke that is going to be coming through from the Karma and the Sivir. So these are these small adaptations it ruins, which will help you out with your lane. And likewise, as we see all the Smithy fans, Liquid fans in the family.
A lot of fans.
A lot of fans here for Liquid today. And, Ruin going to be going Comet because he's going up against this kind of ranged matchup in the cannon. If you can hit that Q knockup, you do hit confirm that Comet, and it allows you to kind of poke back onto this cannon.
Power of Evil and Jensen. 1v1 here in the mid lane. As you already said, we'll be keeping an eye on Jensen throughout this game as to which of these high-value ultis he's able to steal on the Sylas. That's what really makes the difference on this champion in those big team fight moments. But back to what you said about drafting the engage with Wiggly and the Sejuani and being able to just have that go button for CLG. I know that one of your philosophies for teams that are at the bottom of the standing is to draft simple compositions, go for ease of execution.
Yep.
And I tend to agree on that. I feel like a lot of times you'll see teams go for these more advanced strategies that are really difficult to pull off, and especially if you're up against an opponent that is of a higher caliber like Team Liquid is compared to most teams in the LCS, you're putting yourself in a really hard spot. I like the fact that CLG has these go buttons in not just the Sejuani, but also in the Lux.
Yeah, definitely the case. And, I think TL does have some answers for it as well. You do have the ability to have Sivir try to tank Sejuani ultimate spell shield. You have the ability for Smithy to try to tank that up and then use Ragnarok to actually get out of there. So there are some difficulties there. But we will see if these teams are going to be able to execute on these compositions. And it's also interesting to note that it is Klepto on the Victor. Klepto on Kennen is kind of more standard, but seeing this on PoE is a little bit more rare. Certainly going to have to track how well he's going to be able to actually proc this throughout the game onto Jensen, who is playing this Sylas.
Jensen not just playing the Sylas, playing the Conqueror Sylas, going very heavy onto the damage to be able to beat up on the front line of Wiggly and Ruin in particular. A lot of times you will see Sylas go for something like an Aftershock to make sure that he's able to survive when he lands those chains, goes into CC. We've also seen other options. All sorts of keystones have been experimented with on this champion, but Jensen really focusing on the damage here this time around.
Yeah, and the Conqueror also kind of tells me that he may be playing more heavily in a side lane. You know, having that Conqueror in an extended lane, if you're matching up against, say, the Aatrox later on, that can be pretty effective. You know, if you're going to be going into a full-on AP Kennen build, you can bully out melee matchups like this early, but there does come a point where you don't have enough damage, essentially, to really continually pressure the Aatrox, and you can start losing in that side lane. So having something like a Conqueror Sylas who can then move to the side lane and start to match is going to be very helpful for that.
That was almost a really scary moment there for Power of Evil. He
Yep.
rounded the corner 2 more steps forward, and he would have been face-to-face with Xmithy's Olaf. Fortunately for him, he places the ward down at the right time, does not get caught out, gets back to lane safely. Unfortunately for him, mana bar is still almost empty, which means he won't have much pressure or presence here in this lane as Xmithy drops down a ward in the enemy jungle. Keep an eye on that path, that entrance towards the river, as well as when that chicken camps respawn.
Yeah, and both these junglers have been just kind of power farming essentially at this point in the game, and ooh, nice little trade there. Good sidesteps though from PoE, avoids most of the damage, but Jensen will get the better reset. He is going to be able to just walk it back to lane here and have a little bit more tempo as a result. So far on the bottom side, it has been TL pushing in. You can see Doublelift already used his teleport, went back on an early pickaxe buy, and he is now going to try to hard shove that lane in that bottom 2v2 and make it so that Stixxay has a tough time actually getting a good recall off. But now that Wiggly is down here on the bottom side,
Ruin going very aggressive
now he's in
here on
trouble.
the impact, but Xmithy recognizes the flash is gone. Ruin instantly chalks this up as a loss. There's no way to get away from the Olaf when you don't have the flash. He walks back forward to try to get something, but there's nothing except death waiting. And Team Liquid will find first blood.
Yeah, very nice there from TL. Impact fast enough with the flash to be able to respond to that Q flash that Ruin was coming through from. That almost was a solo kill there, but Impact was fast enough to respond, and then once Olaf is behind you, the only thing you can hope to do there is the Aatrox to say, well, I hope Impact gets greedy for the kill and I can maybe go for a 1-for-1.
And as CLG goes for this early Ocean Drake, I like the fact that they're responding to the presence of the Team Liquid jungler on the top half of the map, the bottom half of the map play. Biofrost getting some CC down into CoreJJ, who immediately flashes away to avoid the trap follow-up like you were talking about in Champion Select, and that's the danger of that synergy.
Yep, that's exactly why he did. You know, it wasn't perfectly on time, that trap coming through, but here this is one more time. Ruin actually playing very well in this lane against Impact here, you know, winning out in the early stages, hits the Q, has third Q available, so he wants to go for the Q flash, looks for it, just barely misses. I think if that hits plus the auto, Impact is just dead, so Impact equal to the task on that response, and then Ruin only could try to go for a 1-for-1, which would mean Impact would have had to mess up, and he doesn't.
You can see the wave that Aatrox was holding the sword. He had the Deathbringer stance ready to go, but now Power of Evil in some trouble here in the mid lane. Jensen forced back now, but he will get the flash out of that enemy mid laner. Jensen comes out on top, still with a flash of his own. Victor ultimate was stolen there as looks like Xmithy still controls the top side of the river here for TL. I love seeing how aggressive Jensen wants to be on this champion.
Yeah, that pressure, very, very nice coming out from him, getting that summoner down, and now there's a potential for a dive. Without any flash here, Smithy could come over. They're going to look for it.
Jensen has already used the Chaos Storm from earlier, but it is not required. Will he fall? No, sir. Jensen survives, and now it's a 2-0 game for TL.
Yeah, really nice pressure here. Smithy working his way around the map. He is building to Warrior, as you can see, challenging Smite as well. So this is really going to give him some early power in the dueling. This is not chilling Smite tank. This is full-on damage, and as you said, with the support on this squad that is around it, that was really nice for Biofrost.
Well done, outplaying the timing of the spell shield from Doublelift. Stixxay now finding a little bit more damage in the back end. Doublelift disengaging with Sivir ult.
Yeah, so to go through the little mind game there, you could see Biofrost throws down the Lucent Singularity, that E, but he does not actually proc it. So Doublelift pops his spell shield, expecting that to get detonated. Biofrost just sits on it, waits for the timing of that spell shield to expire, and then nails the binding. So that was a really nice little mind game there that Biofrost did win. As a result, they get the ultimate off of Doublelift, and they do send him back to base, which is going to mean some lost CS here for Team Liquid as that teleport is down. So that is definitely something you're going to see anytime Lux is going up against Sivir at the high level.
Yeah, and it's nice for CLG to be able to make up some of that CS deficit they were incurring up until this point. Wiggly moving forward with Biofrost now. They know that since Doublelift is back, CLG has control over this bottom area of the map to push up towards the enemy blue buff. But that's a level 7 Olaf with ulti ready to go. Jensen, having stolen the Sejuani ult now, is a big red light for CLG to proceed any further. This is not a fight they take. Whoop. That is unfortunate. The red buff actually killed the blue. Wasn't able to pass that one off to Jensen. It happens sometimes.
Unfortunate if you're the mid laner as a jungler.
Yeah, all right with that. Oh no, I got 100 extra gold and some EXP. Rats. We'll get them next time, buddy.
Yeah, but nice little bit of pressure there from CLG, you know, attempting that. And also, I think they backed off at the appropriate time. With Doublelift getting back, there was no way anything positive was going to come from a scrap there. TL is certainly at the stronger point. Their AD had just bought. He was closer to the fight. You know, Warrior's already completed for Smithy. There were so many reasons that wouldn't have looked good for them. But Jensen and Smithy now seeing Wiggly. They can look for this Sejuani ult if they want.
The Axe found the mark, but they won't go any further. Wiggly's still able to get himself away using the Arctic Assault to Arctic Retreat. That does give control over the top side of the river to Team Liquid and Xmithy, who can farm that crab up pretty easily for himself. You can see Ruin walking down here. Ruin has no combat stats, really. He has Mercury Treads, which, very unfortunately, he's up against an opponent who went Bilgewater Cutlass first item, so the Mercury Treads aren't even getting much value. And now Xmithy's having to pop the Olaf ulti to get himself away. A little bit more damage will take him down, and Wiggly executes him with the ultimate.
Yeah, Smithy just kind of ran in there. I mean, Jensen was not around yet. They knew that those guys were going to be over on the blue buff, so Smithy, way too bold on that play, perhaps used to having those additional tanky stats, you know, as a sort of Cinderhulk style build, but even then, I don't think it would have been a good move. So Smithy going to give over a very easy kill to CLG and relieve some of that pressure that he'd been building up.
Smithy, a player that you normally praise for his pathing, for being the brains of a team, but even guys who are known for that will sometimes make those uncharacteristic errors, going too far, not being fully aware of exactly their proximity to the teammate. And for CLG, those are the free ones you take. That's exactly, especially what Wiggly needs to make sure he doesn't fall too far behind in this jungle and always be on that permanent, oh no, where's Olaf?
Yeah, I mean, if he gets too far ahead of you, he can just look for a fight anytime he spots you, and instead it is now CLG looking to set up for a potential dive here. Smithy is in the area, though, and Wiggly's going to get spotted.
As soon as Wiggly's found, CLG's in a bad spot. Impact looking for an opportunity to go forward. Wiggly still barely getting himself away, 500 HP remaining. Ruin trying to fight this one off, looking to get himself away. Remember, no revive available on Aatrox any longer, still looking to run away, somehow making it out with the flash. But Jensen takes down Wiggly, and Ruin will surely fall here. Impact not able to find his mark there with his own flash as Ruin flashes away. This Aatrox is on a journey, Azael. He's trying to get himself out, maybe get something back in return, but all he's doing is delaying the inevitable. Ruin tries to get out. All right, he finally gets chopped down.
I respect him, man. Even make CoreJJ come up. That was 4 people on the chase from top lane to the blue buff on the bottom side, so at least makes him invest a lot of time there. Doublelift does TP back to lane here. They're going to grab this early ocean or at least look for it, and Smite is available, so.
Yeah, it was a lot of time invested, but unfortunately it leads Team Liquid right to the ocean Drake, which they will now claim. A little bit of damage coming out. Whoa! Wiggly! He makes it happen on not just 1, but 2. Jensen needs one more auto attack and he will fall. CoreJJ tries to go for the flash heal. It was a split second too late.
That was nuts from Wiggly and Biofrost. The Q flash over the wall into the 2-man Lux ult. That was so sick from CLG there.
Wiggly could not have aimed that better. That was perfect. We're gonna need the replay for that one here in just a second.
Very impressed.
And now that gives CLG the opportunity to say, hey, it's black and white screens for the enemy mid laner and jungle. Shelly's a freebie.
I mean, these last couple of minutes have really kind of swung things back towards CLG. They are looking very competitive once again here in this game now. Gonna grab the Rift. It's a dragon apiece. The gold lead, really nothing to write home about. If you can cash in with that Shelly, you're gonna have tied things up. So here it is one more time. They do grab this Ocean Dragon, but you can see Smithy is hesitating. He's not sure, do I really want to blow the ultimate? All right, Victor shows up, I guess I do. Doublelift walks back to give him his ult to get out there as well. Ult, flash over the wall. W hits them both, the Lux ult across them as well. They knocked down multiple members, and CoreJJ even looks for the flash heal, but he hesitated a little bit there too. So TL losing a lot off of that play.
Both summoners on your support and your one-time stopwatch on your mid laner. Big moves for CLG. Make sure you hit us up on Twitter at LOL Esports with your own opinions on what was the biggest moment in the game with hashtag LCS big plays. As we might get even more here in the mid lane as Shelly summoned up. CLG want to protect her, make sure they get some of that plate money. They summoned her up this quickly, even though the wave wasn't in the best spot, because this right here, 2 plates worth of money, ka-ching, 320 gold in the bank.
Yeah, that is going to feel really good right there. Cashing in on those plates, that's a kill worth of gold that they did grab, and they got it with only a couple seconds to spare before the turret plates do just expire right now. So well done here by CLG, battling back, keeping this game close thus far against TL, and we'll see if TL can find a more decisive fight in the mid game. This is certainly, if you're looking back to spring, the kind of game that you'd be feeling very, very confident about their position in. But we did see them give up that loss last week in what was a fairly similar game. They actually had a much more significant advantage, and they weren't able to execute in that mid-game team fight. So they're going to have to show it to us, see if CLG can pull it off here.
And what we're looking for that CLG pull-off, pop-off moment is finding these continued engages like they're doing with Wiggly. We already talked about how important that go button is, and CLG have found a way to make that success so far. You can see there the plates. They were able to get themselves 4 of them. TL, no plates at all.
That is a really rare sight to see. TL, really well known, in North America for their dominant lane phase. They usually are a team who is grabbing a lot of those turret plates, getting the additional gold. This time, CLG equal to that task, not going to be giving up much, and we'll see if they can actually get a lead going forward. I do think that this damage build on the Olaf can be extremely powerful when supported by that Sivir ultimate, when supported by the Karma shields. But that being said, if you are not ahead, it does hit a point where you are ulting, you're getting those negative resistances, and Victor and Caitlyn just kill you. Right? Like, you just die while you're trying to run in. So you need to be playing from a point of power. They are certainly strong enough still to be looking for those plays, but you want to see them finding opportunities to look for those engages in those team fights around those neutral objectives.
Chad builds truly are a double-edged sword.
Yep.
Fall behind too far, and the game quickly becomes a 5 versus 4. But bottom side, it's Stixxay and Biofrost using the power of this long-range lane to take down the first turret of the game and put CLG in the gold lead.
Yeah, and really the first kind of time past the very early seconds of the game that they have had that whatsoever, but now looking for the all-in.
Nice engage from Jensen on the power of evil. Smithy makes his way into the fight now too. PoE barely able to escape from this one. Has to be careful about stray axes at the end of the fight. CLG disengaging there, keeping their mid laner alive.
Yeah, and it does actually cost TL the flash though. So yes, they did get some lane pressure. That is nice. They will be able to get some damage down on this turret, perhaps even take it out. But at the end of the day, it's TL who look for the play and do end up losing a summoner. So it will be them just moving down to the Infernal Dragon. They're going to try to get vision around here. That is spawning in 10 seconds, so TL wants to have priority in this area. Will be the first ones to the spot, and we'll be working on getting that vision.
And as long as you can secure this Infernal Drake, popping Jensen's flash there in the mid lane to not get a kill or a turret is just fine. If it turns into the Drake, totally worthwhile investment. However, now they've got to consider the fact that Jensen is vulnerable here on this Sylas. Power of Evil with the Chaos Storm ready to go. Jensen having stolen the Lux ultimate means some more burst available for the side of TL.
Yeah, and look at the top laners up here on the mini-map actually fighting it out. You can see Ruin had the first move. Neither one of them had TP, so he was actually cutting off Impact. Impact had to walk the longer way, and now CLG has priority on this dragon. You're going to have to try to engage through Caitlyn traps, which would be so damn hard.
This is one of the most difficult parts about playing against Caitlyn. Caitlyn and Victor, this is the wall of nope. You do not walk through that corridor.
Yeah, that was really well handled by CLG. TL were the first ones on the play, but Ruin had the earlier roam. He was able to actually cut off Impact. Neither of them had the TP, and TL just got straight up outmaneuvered and are going to have to give over that very juicy Infernal to their opponents.
CLG playing impressively so far here this game, still maintaining an ever so slight lead over the current LCS champions, the MSI finalists in Team Liquid. CLG better than Invictus Gaming. Ship it. Has CLG's time truly come? We will see.
I mean, they're also an MSI finalist.
That's true. It's all adding up now.
It's an MSI finals.
We're connecting the dots. All the pieces are coming together.
Yep.
And for CLG, items are starting to come together now as well. You can see with the Infinity Edge and Berserker's Greaves completed for Stixxay. Now he's got the Kerchase Shard in inventory, moving towards what is likely the Rapid Fire Cannon. As Jensen and CoreJJ retreat here in the top side. Also, always worth keeping track of a Kinnon's build in any sort of a Kinnon game. The Hextech Gunblade completed, sort of like that hybrid item, gives you some laning power while also providing AP burst, and you'll see him continue to transition into more team fighting power.
Yeah, generally the rule of thumb is you go Proto Belt in a lane that is not poke-based and is all-in based. You go Gunblade if you are going to be getting poked and harassed and trading, because this sustain it gives you is going to allow you to have a lot better time in lane. Because of how well Rune was playing and also the fact that this is Comet Aatrox, he can harass and trade back and forth. So if you do go for something like a Proto Belt, you can just get whittled down and taken out. As a result, his team fighting will be weaker with this build, but it does allow him to survive in lane, and he can still transition into a more standard full AP build.
CLG looking to use the power of this Caitlyn. This is standard Caitlyn play back when she was the #1 AD carry in the game. It's happened multiple times throughout multiple metas. You take the bottom lane turret, and then Caitlyn just goes on a tour de rift and walks around, blasts all the remaining turrets down across the rest of the map, and it's so difficult to engage because of what we saw in the river around the Drake fight. Those traps, especially when you've got something like a Victor and a Lux on your team, there is so much zone control for CLG.
Yeah, exactly. You drop the Lucent Singularity on one side of the turret, that Lux E. You drop the traps on the other side. You can really zone people off quite heavily. And, you know, this is a shield max Lux, which is going to be a lot of shielding in these team fights. You know, it is over 100 on the way out. It is more than double that on the way back, about 250 on that shield. So, you know, if you're accurate and hitting a lot of members on your team in a team fight with that shielding, you could be putting out an incredible amount of damage absorption.
TL still keeping this game incredibly close. It's not like CLG are continuing to build the small lead that they found. TL is not the type of squad to allow themselves to bleed out after falling slightly behind. So definitely still anyone's game here. Team Liquid is not a squad you can underestimate even for a moment. Let's see how things continue to play out. As you can take a look at the vision here from the side of CLG, things are looking awfully dark. They have a couple wards in their own jungle, but despite the fact that they've taken down the tier 1s in both side lanes, they don't have the ability to push up anywhere just yet. Biofrost trying to get himself away from Jensen, who's going very hard forward. Biofrost keeps himself alive, pops the heal, and still gets away pretty good.
Yep, using that shield defensively. You know, does drop the heal as well. You can see, though, Jensen at a pretty strong point in the game. They're going in.
Over the wall comes Wiggly. The laser goes through. It's only able to find its way onto Xmithy. Wiggly goes into the stopwatch, making sure Team Liquid's not able to find the counterattack, and this gives the opportunity for the rest of CLG to move up, find a little bit of damage onto the tier 1. Laser comes back out from Jensen. Anything you can do, I can do better. Neither one of them is going to kill anybody today, and the siege stops.
Yep, the siege does stop for now. But again, Smithy just getting engaged on and chunked out. They're happy to jump on him. Yeah, sure, he can Ragnarok the Sejuani ultimate, but he's actually just pushed back to base almost immediately from that damage.
Chaos Storm doing a great job zoning Team Liquid away. They're not able to defend their tier 1 turret, and this is just another one of those zone control tools. You're not going to walk up and defend a turret if you're taking 15% of your health per tick from a Chaos Storm.
Yeah.
Team Liquid's not able to defend, and that is CLG with a 3-0 turret lead.
Yeah, CLG is honestly doing a really good job with the sieging here. You know, kind of cashing in on some of that power that they have with this Caitlyn, with a lot of the other zone control on this team. And TL is still scaling up on their own. You can see Essence Reaver completed for double lift alongside that rapid fire cannon. He is going to be working next, almost guaranteed, towards the Infinity Edge, and that is generally where people talk about Sivir really starting to ramp up in power, because you can start to get those ricochet crits. You can start shredding down the back line without even having to hit them. So that is certainly something that can be very, very powerful. But until then, you know, CLG certainly has the run of the map, and we'll see if they can continue to create more pressure, as it looks like they're just going to take another dragon.
The Gargoyle Stone Plate done on Wiggly. That means the front line of CLG is incredibly intimidating. He's got that along with the Merc Tread, so it's hard to even lock him down with the Kinnon jumping in there. Wiggly has been performing very well so far this game for the side of CLG, and now that they've got another Drake in their pocket, they're doing pretty well. Jensen moving forward, trying to go after Power of Evil. He's got backup coming towards him in case CLG try to bring some help of their own. Jensen still feeling very comfortable in this 1v1.
Yeah, I did like the use of the ultimate there, though, from PoE. Just clear out the wave. that really denies much of any siege potential there. PoE, though, is stepping up, trying to look to clear this out one more time, and you know, playing fairly boldly. He knows that his teammates are running up on the map. 3 members from his squad were moving up, and that is why TL is going to back off. They did have that ward over by the blue buff, which did allow them, you know, kind of pre-warning that this move was being made, and well played by both sides.
Yeah, Power of Evil's able to ward away 4 members of Team Liquid before they can get the last couple of hits onto that tier 1 turret. Keeps that alive, prevents the gold from going into the Team Liquid pockets. You can see Power of Evil working towards that Lich Bane for more instant burst, but also limited a little bit by range. Wiggly going forward after Xmithy, and once again, it's jungler ulti for jungler ulti. Ooh, that binding was so close to finding its way onto Jensen, but the follow-up is still enough that Jensen's forced to flash away. Nice gravity field placed down by Power of Evil, making sure Team Liquid's not able to respond, and CLG are just continuing to look for these opportunities.
Yeah, and I really think that Wiggly is playing this very intelligently. He is just constantly engaging onto Smithy, and yes, again, he can use the Ragnarok to get out of there, but he then has no use in the team fight. He's being put on the defensive constantly. They even get the flash out of Jensen, and now they are starting up the Baron here. This will be spotted out, so likely they will have to back off, but CLG is playing very confident and kind of showing us, I think, some of the weaknesses of this Olaf build. The fact that they are able to pressure him so heavily, he hasn't really been able to find any opportunities to look for any sorts of engage because Ragnarok is constantly being used defensively.
Now, the one nice part is, since you are going for the Chad build Olaf, you have Warrior plus Black Cleaver. That's 30% CDR on its own, so you've got the ability to have the Ragnarok up much more frequently than you might with a Cinderhulk counterpart build. But when it's blown all the time for essentially just the Sejuani ult, yeah, you're a big melee minion in these team fights. What are you going to do as non-Ragnarok Olaf? Throw an axe? All right, guys, I did my job. I'll see you at the next one.
I mean, you're never going to be able to even get in, right? You're just going to get queued by Sejuani and then die. So it is very dangerous, and Jensen going to have to retreat here.
Power of Evil deletes him! Yeah. The Lich Bane Power Spike online. Check the box and send Jensen home.
This is potentially them just going right back to Baron. Again, CLG is playing great here. TL is in the area, but now you're down your mid laner. Baron is being started. We'll see if TL can actually contest this. This is a 4v5.
4v5, but Team Liquid does have a Sivir that is on 2.5 items, and now that Sivir is going to be engaged on. Double is having to pop the flash, getting himself away. Xmithy will not be saved by the Ragnarok today, and Ruin is rampaging onto the AD carry. Double tries to get himself out, but he will be slammed into the dirt by Power of Evil, and Counter Logic Gaming are popping off.
CLG are looking great here against Team Liquid. This should be their Baron for free. We see the TP coming back in here from Jensen. He's going to try to work some magic. CoreJJ is around as well. Impact still has Flash Ultimate, so they can still make something happen here. Kennon's going to look.
CLG has to pay respect to what this Kennon is able to do. Jensen getting himself zoned away, rooted up, bursted down, nearly going to be killed, and now he is gone! Stixay grabs it, and he's going to get another one. A double to the AD carry as CoreJJ goes back to the spawn platform. And ladies and gentlemen, CLG will find that Baron.
They are dominating here against TL. Jensen just goes down again. TV's back in. Here is the previous fight after Jensen had been picked off. Q flash from Wiggly. Double it. Pops the ult. Is going to run up. But Smithy is just dying instantly in these fights. And then Ruin. Q flash onto Double if he knows that he has no flash. He's able to get that knockdown. Ultimate reset. Comes back up with the revive, and they head straight to Baron, where they're able to turn for not only more kills, but the eventual Baron take, and they are in full control. Look how ahead even just Stixay is now at this point of the game. He has a three items plus that Vamp Scepter, 3 items completed on PoE. These guys have everything they need to close out this game cleanly.
Banshee's Veil Power of Evil means that Team Liquid now no longer even has the ability to try to steal a Sejuani ultimate and catch him out. Power of Evil is doing so well this game. The 1v1 against Jensen, finding the damage in the team fights. Remember, this is a guy who, when we saw him on Optic, was often the one guy keeping things afloat for the team back when they weren't able to find success otherwise. He comes over onto CLG. Things don't go super well for a while, but this game, all the pieces are falling into place.
Yeah, and how about a second Infernal for even more late game insurance?
Why not?
You know, you're 28 minutes into the game. Double Infernal is worth thousands of gold at this point, so their lead is even bigger than it does appear. They have Double Ocean to continually siege to keep up that regen constantly, and their siege comp is so strong, so they're just very easily knocking down these turrets, not only with the Caitlyn, but Lichbane Victor crushes turrets.
And you're talking about an AP cannon in Impact that still has no hourglass.
Yep.
His stopwatch was already spent. If he goes into the fight, he knows he's going home in a body bag. Even if they win that fight, he will die. And that's so difficult for Team Liquid to try to defend in a situation like this. Tier 3 turret under siege. Stixxay continuing to fire shots into that one, and it's already gone. Those little cannon minions will do a good job continuing to put the DPS into this bottom lane inhib. As we'll see everyone continue to step up, just throw out those skill shots. Losing Singularity down just to zone people away. But here comes TL. Impact looking to find his way into the back line. He's going to be rooted up, not able to find his initiation, but the shutdowns there at Team Liquid will find Power of Evil. CLG not able to get themselves in there in time. Ruin makes his way into the fight finally. Impact's into the back. It's CLG. Eviscerated, annihilated, and Team Liquid has found their fight.
Yeah, and CLG just re-engage on a fight after their mid laner is dead. Impact still had his cooldowns, and I don't know what they were thinking, getting way too confident there. TL pulling back into this game.
I said Impact would have to die if he engaged, but he found the flank, he found the opportunity with the burst gone, and that is exactly what the doctor ordered for Team Liquid.
I mean, that is so huge, such a massive swing in gold. They kill 4, get some of those shutdowns. They're gonna knock down a mid lane turret, pushing up these waves. They could potentially get another turret here as well. Power of Evil is back, but geez, that was a costly mistake here from CLG, and they're still in a good spot, still can win this game, but that is not the kind of error you want to see when you're this close to taking down TL.
And as the Baron power play timer nears 0, negative 2,000 gold
Yikes.
from all the shutdowns and the turrets going over to the side of Team Liquid.
Jensen.
CLG commit a critical error as Jensen will now try to
Jensen's
escape. Biofrost and
No
Power
way.
of Evil are on the way. Nice dash out of the way of the light binding, but Xmithie and Doublelift have showed up. Power of Evil fires off the laser, not going to grab anything. Doublelift popping the ulti just to make sure Jensen gets out.
Yeah, very well done. You know, the rest of the team coming up to support him does get him out scot-free. Thought they certainly would have been able to take him down there, but here this is one more time. So, you know, Power of Evil is the initial one they are going to be able to engage onto. You can see Ruin is over in the mid lane. Xmithie flashes in on PoE. PoE almost one rounds Doublelift, barely not being able to take him down. Then why try to force this re-engage? The flash in. Impact still has everything. You're flashing forward, trying to engage past the Kennen, who then just roasts your backline. Ruin not able to get done anything there. Does end up going down as well, and TL got so much off of that. Doublelift not only completes the IE, he gets a QSS on top of that. So many items come through. Zonya is now done for Impact. Zonya is now done for Jensen. You just gifted TL a shot at still winning this game.
If Team Liquid wins this game, that's the moment you go back in VOD review and look at over and over and over again, because that's where the game then would have been decided.
Impact in trouble.
Ruin looking for the opportunity to take Impact down here. Impact does have an hourglass now, so he can buy time if he can get back to the safety of the rest of the team.
Yeah, and this next Infernal also going to be very critical. Giving over that triple Infernal advantage for CLG would be enormous. If TL could grab that, that would do a lot to equalize any disadvantage they do have there. CLG, though, trying to continue establishing vision in this area. You can see they are clearing out all of these wards. If you look at this bottom side jungle here on the minimap, there's really no vision for TL. They have one ward, 2 wards over the wall there, but they can see nothing in the area of that dragon, and CLG wants to again set up that zone of control. They want to be able to drop those traps, have that gravity field, and really create a situation where TL cannot even try to challenge for it.
Now the advantage you have if you're CLG is you've got flashes on your whole top side of the map going into the next team fight. Team Liquid, though, has the flashes on both bottom laners. So Doublelift will be a hard mark to kill, but Impact, Jensen, and Xmithie will have a harder time getting to those backline targets on CLG as well.
And with the Baron up now, you know, going for that Infernal becomes so much more risky, because with so much damage in these kits, these guys are strong, and they're just going to straight up start the Baron right on spawn. They're going to have to back out now, though. Impact does have TP, and he could look for a TP flank here, but I don't really see any good ward for him to look for, so it would have to be a full-on engage for CLG for him to be able to capitalize, and he will just head down to that bottom side. Infernal now live on the map, so objective trading certainly on the table for these two teams.
And just look at the way the game has changed. Previously, it was CLG always going forward. Now, the initiation not going to find the mark just yet. Wiggly on the front line. Team Liquid looking to make this their fight. It's Smithy knocks into the Guardian Angel here immediately. Ruin's not able to find his blood just yet. As Stixxay grabs himself a double kill. Team Liquid's on the run, and they bit off way more than they can chew, Azale. Doublelift tries to retreat away from the Chaos Storm as it slowly creeps forward towards CoreJJ. He flashes away from the light binding, but CLG continues their march.
Yeah, this is a 5v3. CLG could potentially try to deal game-ending damage. They are just pinging to the objective, so they're going to try to go both Baron and Infernal. I think Ruin will be sent to try to solo the Infernal, while the 4-man squad will take the Baron. And that TP play from Impact got absolutely nothing done. I mean, he TP'd straight in onto a trap and just straight up died. TL are going to challenge. They will try to at least grab the Infernal here. We'll see if they can do it. They have no jungler, remember.
While Ruin is not able to solo the Infernal himself, his job is to try to buy enough time to prevent Liquid from taking it if he can. That will not be the case. That was a close snipe there with the laser. Not quite finding it, though. Team Liquid will at least get a little bit of a silver lining along that dark cloud, but let's take another look at this fight.
Yeah, so watch this TP. This is not really the best TP flank, and Stixxay says, great, I'll just drop a trap. So Impact doesn't come in, immediately Zonias to not get trapped up, but then he's just gonna get trapped straight out of that. Caitlyn denies this sort of a play so easily.
Yeah.
You need to be TPing in from behind so that you cannot have the traps pre-set up on that play. Smithy is focused down, Impact is out immediately, and with those two frontliners down, CLG was always going to win the fight, and again, showing they are not done yet in this game. They are still in a position of control.
Power of Evil also having his juke boots laced up. That could have been a very different fight if Jensen's initial stolen Sejuani ulti made contact with the CLG mid laner, who did not have his Banshees up and has no QSS.
And remember, this is actually a triple Zeal build coming out from Stixxay. So he's already at 90% crit. This is pretty rare to see these days. You know, skipping a Last Whisper, skipping a QSS or anything like that. He's going for 100% crit build here with triple Zeal. So if he completes that last item, and even if he doesn't at this point, 90% crit, you are going to shred through people.
It's so much damage. Bloodthirster also done there as now. Oh, that is the catch if I've ever seen it. Biofrost takes the credit. Impact's prowling around looking for a flank, but instead he's the one who gets caught out. And now Jensen and the rest of Team Liquid have to somehow defend 4 versus 5 against a Baroned up CLG. Ruin is in the bottom lane split pushing.
I mean, there's 4 traps and the gravity field. There's no way you can engage and get Ruin's just gonna knock down Inhibitor for free on that bottom side. CLG are closing in on him.
Gravity field not gonna be needed just yet. Chaos Storm was stolen and dropped down. CoreJJ taken very low. Ruin into the back line and Stixxay goes on a killing spree. Team Liquid retreats. Doublelift tries to throw out some boomerangs on his way back into the spawn platform.
Oh, he's
that's all he'll do. Ladies and gentlemen, Counter Logic Gaming take down Team Liquid.
The best game of the season from CLG by far, knocking down Team Liquid here in a very impressive display, utilizing this siege composition to such great effect. TL never really able to find their engages. They were warding off and tracking Impact so well throughout these fights, constantly being able to deny him from getting those engages.
The lasting thing that's just gonna stick with me about this game is how decisive CLG looked. This was not one of the very common situations that you see where a team goes up against one of the top teams and they get all nervous and they won't try to force anything even when they have a lead. CLG walked into the Baron pit so many times and just started doing it.
Yep.
This is the kind of play that you see in international tournaments where the teams aren't actually afraid of each other and they say, no, we have a lead. We're going to start Baron. You must answer. CLG had that same